Okay, I'm going to do a teaching this evening. Have somebody that's trying to explain cognitive dissonance, which they have an absolutely bogus idea of what it is. Cognitive dissonance isn't, because I'm sitting there 3 years ago, 3 years before, with a picture of Ramana behind me, and I have flowers in my hair and wearing modern dress. So according to this person, that's cognitive dissonance. Okay? Now the cognitive dissonance is in the mind of the one that is saying this because it's making her uncomfortable, not my students. Okay? My students are quite fine with what I'm wearing, but she has an absolute problem with it and has been haranguing about a photo that was behind me 3 years ago. 3 years ago. So let me tell you this this story, okay? So there was an ascetic, and he was living by the side of a temple. And there was the house of a harlot in front. While seeing the constant concourse of men at the prostitute's house, the ascetic one day called her and censured her. The poor prostitute became extremely sorry for her misdeeds, and with genuine inward repentance prayed to God, beseeching forgiveness. But as prostitution was her profession, she couldn't easily adopt any other means of earning her livelihood. The ascetic saw that his advice produced no effect upon her. He started counting the number of people visiting her by putting a pebble for each visitor, and in course of time there arose a big heap of pebbles. He called her and advised her again and showed her the heap of pebbles. She prayed more intensely. After seeing her heap of sins, she died one day, and by the strange will of God, the ascetic also died on the same day. Messengers of Vishnu came and took the prostitute to heaven. Messengers of Yama, god of death, came and took the ascetic to hell. Seeing the prostitute going towards heaven, he questioned the judgment of God. And the messengers of Vishnu said, the decree of God is always just. As you think, so you reap. You passed your life in external show and vanity. That's why God's given you this. The prostitute earnestly prayed to God day and night. Look at the treatment which your body and her body was receiving. Your body never sinned, and so it was decorated with flowers and taken in a procession. But the prostitute's body, which had sinned, is torn into pieces by the animals. She was pure in heart, but your heart was always contemplating her sins, and thus you became impure. You were the real prostitute, and not she. Okay? So the cognitive dissonance is based on your own mental drama, okay? My students have no mental drama because what I'm telling them, my actions are in alignment with what I am saying. So let me give you some examples, okay? Nityananda was supposed to be a guru, okay? And his followers are wearing robes and, talking all this stuff, putting up all these videos. And behind the scenes, what are they doing? Putting out the most filthy, disgusting things that they can on people, okay? And this is true because you also participated in it. Cognitive dissonance, okay? That's cognitive dissonance. You're supposed to be elevating your energy, okay? First thing I teach my students is honesty, integrity, transparency. simplicity, and sacredness. And what is he teaching? Oh, okay, you wear robes, you're doing pujas, you're doing this, you're doing that, and behind the scenes, he's telling you to go do the most disgusting, filthy, degrading things to people that you can do. That's cognitive dissonance, okay? If I were telling my students that they need to go, never wear makeup, they need to dress in plain clothes, okay? They need to be a vegetarian, and I'm wearing makeup, I'm wearing street clothes, and I'm eating a big steak in front of them, that would bring cognitive dissonance, okay? Let me give you another example of cognitive dissonance. Since you're so interested in that and you want to make some big pronouncement about it, some big ha-ha, and you don't understand what it is, let's take Muji, okay? Okay, when I tell my students what I am, you are, okay, I tell them not to be bowing down, not to be doing pranam, because what I am, you are. Okay, the only difference is my eyes are open and yours are not as yet. But let's look at what your person you put on a pedestal is doing, which is cognitive dissonance. Okay, since you like that word, I'm going to help you with it. Okay, he's telling them, yeah, you're already that. We're the same. It's the same thing. Yet he encourages them to sing bhajans to him, to kiss his feet, okay? That is cognitive dissonance, okay? You don't say what I am, you are, and then sing bhajans to me, put me on a pedestal, kiss my feet, okay? That is cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is because you can't stand the fact that I can be a genuine spiritual person and not have to put on some air and false face, okay? That is your cognitive dissonance about it, okay? You can ask any of my students if I have ever said anything out of alignment with what I do, okay? If I have told them to do something other than what is being done here by example. Okay, but you don't do that, do you? Of course not. You want to make up some fake drama about what you call cognitive dissonance, which is not at all, okay? It is in your mind, but not in my students' minds, okay? So again, you keep doing these types of things and show what you are. Cognitive dissonance is sitting there proclaiming yourself to be this pure avatar. I never lie, and then you proceed to sit there and lie through your teeth, okay? Make up stuff. The nastiest things you can think to put out there, you put out there, okay? And you want to have students, you want to have, and they see you reading from Nisargadatta and telling them what a real guru would be, what a real sat guru is, and then they see you in the next second doing the very things you just talked against that a real guru would never do, okay? Okay? As you're trying to point a finger here, and yet you don't realize the finger is pointing back at you instead. Because they come to my channel, and you put up a link and says, look at this, look at this, look at this. See there what she's doing? And they go and they look and they say, none of that's happening. Okay? It's only in your mind. That's cognitive dissonance. Okay? Something that's making you uncomfortable. And so you're going to try to rectify it because you can't deal with it in your own mind. Okay? You can't deal with the fact that somebody, takes care of themselves and has a picture of Ramana behind them 3 years ago. It's still something that you are hung up on. Let me tell you, a genuine realized being is in the moment. They're not 3 years ago haranguing about something that was there 3 years ago, okay? So again, you're showing what you are not, okay? Give it a rest. Quit trying to be so clever. And you're not being clever, you're just showing that you don't understand what you're talking about, okay? Should I read to you what cognitive dissonance is? Okay? So you can actually understand what it is. It's used to describe the mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. People tend to seek consistency in their attitudes and perceptions, so this conflict causes feelings of unease or discomfort. Again, the cognitive dissonance in the story that I read about the prostitute and the so-called ascetic, he was so caught up in what she was doing, her actions, okay? And when she was out there having to ply her trade, her thoughts were always on Krishna. That was it. Her thoughts, her mind, everything was on Krishna, always, okay? So he was judging her body, he was judging her actions, okay? And trying to look like that I am this perfect being over here. And she, while she was having to do what she had to do to survive, her whole thoughts, her whole consciousness, her whole being was absorbed in Krishna. Okay? So you come out there, with your jealousy and your hate and your drama, hung up on something that three years ago, when I had a picture of Ramana behind me, okay? And you're still haranguing on it 3 years later. So whose mind is in cognitive dissonance? Okay? Do I tell my people that they have to be vegetarians while I'm eating meat? No. Okay, that would be cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is also the fact that I have a Kundalini path and I tell my people to eat meat to be grounded. Yet your Muji that you put on a pedestal doesn't know a thing about Kundalini. He eats meat and he tells his devotees to go ahead and eat meat. So why is that a sure thing that I'm unenlightened, but he's enlightened, okay? Do you see how your mind is, you find a way to justify what he's doing and you use something to try to condemn here, okay? There's a reason I tell my students to have a little meat if they need it, okay? I don't force them to, just like I don't force anyone to be celibate, okay? So again, my teachings are straight down the line. It's not about what you're wearing, okay? Consciousness is based on the internal, not the external. And you want to try to make it all about externals. Oh my God, look at what she's wearing. Oh my God, there's a picture of Ramana behind her. Oh my God, she's got a cleavage. Oh my God. The dissonance is in your mind, not my students' minds, okay? So that might be something you want to look at. Where is the cognitive dissonance? It's in your judgmental mind, okay? Your projections. And if you talk to any of my students, okay, you would find that it's not there. So I'm going to leave this here. I hope you've enjoyed this little thing about what cognitive dissonance really is about versus your projections and angst and anger because you don't like what I wear. Okay? Because you don't like I wear lipstick. Because you don't like, that I take care of myself. Okay? Because you want to turn it into something smarmy and ugly, and that's in your mind, okay?